Hey guys, welcome back to the shed build. It's Jeff here. Today we are installing something that makes this shed very unique. Here's a hint. Cut the grass and grab a glass. That's right. We're talking about how to build a custom bar. Cheers. We've got a lawnmower area behind us. We've got a garden shed, both with their own access doors. But today we're going to turn this into a backyard entertainment paradise. All right, now let's just jump into this. We got some pretty serious hardware. We're going to go with some gate hardware to hang our awning, all right, so that it can lift up. That'll be awesome. And really the key here is to know the end from the beginning. So the top is overhanging. The back here is recessed and flush with the wall. So whatever we build here, we want to have it flush, and then we're going to cap it with some of this trimming that you see on the corner. It's pretty basic, pretty simple. The truth is, had I planned ahead, I would have just put the full sheet of skin on and then cut it to fit after I was done building the frame. I wasn't thinking, so now I'm doing it backwards. But if you do have a shed, you could just add a little structural support to your wall and then just cut right through the whole thing, open it up like a picture, slap on a couple of hinges, and off you go to the races. Now, woo, here we go. I'm short. I'm gonna need a ladder for this. So the goal here, guys, is to use some really good hardware. That's actually gonna function better for us. So just go through the plan. This lumber here is 1 inch thick. It's not the structure I want to attach to. So I've got these fence gates, and I've got these amazing structural bolts that are probably going to be too big for my damn hardware. I'll drill them out. That won't be pretty. We're going to attach some 1/2 inch material right here so my awning can swing to 105 degrees. All right? The front of that bracket is going to get attached to this. This is 3/4 inch plywood. And where these screws come through on the back side, I'm going to put a piece of the 5/4 inch cedar just to help eat up the meat on that screw and give me a little bit of stability, like a rail. And then we're going to add the gas lift to the side, and this should open that up without too much difficulty. I'm going to do a little bit of fussing around to get this to work right, like I said earlier. If you're thinking about doing this, leave the skin on, cut the top and the sides, put all your brackets and hardware on, and then cut the bottom loose. It would have been a lot easier. We're gonna do something crazy and take a chance that we can drill this bigger. Got it. Now we got the ability to mount that hardware, right? Yeah. All right. Okay, so when you're doing something crazy like this, you got to consider, you know, how you're going to be attached, how much lead you can get, the elevation. We're way over 105 degrees here, so that's good. Where your hardware is going to go so that you overlap your surface for weatherproofing, right? And if I'm flat against the surface now, it pulls away as it opens, all right? And because I'm adding that 1/2 inch across the top, this actually gives my material enough that it'll cover the bottom as well, okay? Every situation is gonna be different, but the key here is to understand that you need clearance for mobility, you need overhang to keep the weather out, and since I'm going to be lifting a whole lot of weight, we're going to want to build this door. I'm going to put a piece of wood across here to hold the weight, set it in place with the hardware attached to the top, and then I'm going to come back inside and I'm going to screw it up. Now I've had to add a 2x4 to the back here to line up with the second hole, but it's right into the 2x10. It's structural now, okay? And we're going to add those 2 points, get this thing hanging in place, and then we'll finagle a little bit to trim it off and square it off. That'll be fine. All right? At the end of the day, lining this up so that our panels cover here and line up with the grooves is the biggest element. If you can get all your grooves lined up, you're gonna be a rock star, okay? So we're not gonna worry too much about the location of the hinge. We're just gonna get it on the plywood. We'll get this up, move it into position, and then we'll attach it. And then instant awning. Okay? Nailed it.
Nailed it.
Forty-eight and a half. Okay, 48 and a half. Now one of these has got a bad warp to it, right? Okay. Here we go. Okay. All right. Ready? Keep it going. Got it. And the other side now. There we go. Now what we gotta do is we gotta put some cross bracing on here, but it has to be higher than the countertop. All right, Matt, let's go with a 95. Yeah, and then we'll just do a couple of filler strips after that. 39s. Okay, Matt, come on over here, bud. I'm gonna show you what I want you to do. All right, so here's the deal. I want you to stand here like this.
Yeah.
Hold that right there. And I'm gonna put a screw at the top, and one in the middle, and one in the bottom. Okay? Like exactly, top, middle, and bottom. So you can hold it there, and and here is fine. This will not come all the way through. I don't think. Okay? It's the only place that I... Okay. Thank you. Next seam, split it right down the middle. Right to the top, please. Thank you. Go like that. Can you like start there and just, you're the clamp? Okay, I'm gonna put one. That is the damn awning, right? Woo! All we need now is a couple of gas lifts. I think we're just gonna lift this up and then set it on these. Okay, we'll see how it works. That'll take all the pressure off the screws. There you go. That's just for now, okay? So now we got a functional awning. Great, now it's raining, so Max can stand underneath the awning while I install the bar top. So here's how we're gonna do this. We've got some brackets. These are really cool, actually. This gets mounted on a wall, and it's a release and fold system, okay? So while this is hanging on the wall, I can have my bar top attached to it, and it just lifts right up. All right, so my goal is to get this installed as flush to this exterior surface as I can, level across all 4 brackets that I have, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop some screws along the front, and I'm going to drive them down and adjust them all to the wood itself, because it's not going to be perfectly flat. It is a piece of a tree that's been cut. So once we get the brackets all level, we'll install the wood, we'll drop it over, we'll install some spaces for it to sit so it stays level, and then we're good. So that's actually my high side. And you know, the truth is, because I'm using 4 brackets on a long, thin piece of wood, it'll all adjust over time, and it would just sit fine. But I'm a stickler for getting things perfect every time. So we're gonna go ahead and make it perfect. This is the high side. I have more lip here, but that's the high side. So I'm gonna do everything based off of that end. Gonna mount my wall bracket first. What I should be doing before I do that I wish I had my torpedo level on me, Max. That might be helpful. But if you don't have a torpedo level, a 5-foot one will do just fine. I am definitely leaning towards me. I'm 1/8 of an inch higher on the front. Okay. Now the reason you want a bar top level is because if you're serving drinks, you don't want them to fall over. Obviously. Here we go. This is the easiest thing I've done in 3 days. We've been building this shed all week. Oh, it's nice to have a simple project again. Right, so lever, it gets past the little mechanism, the bar falls down. To lift it up, okay, because it's actually, you don't need to use the lever to lift it, okay? I'm just gonna grab the wood and lift it. So you'll see when we're finished. Now that's in position, we're gonna open it up, grab the next one. All right, this is where this gets fun. So I'm gonna put it on my level and raise it until it's level. Loving that. Yeah, now it's all perfectly level. It's an easy install. The secret here is when you're putting in a screw and there's room, make sure you're putting it in at the top of the bracket, because you don't want to put in a screw and then have it sink under the weight. There we go, top of the hole. Because I'm thinking about the overhang and people putting weight on it, and I need to have enough screws in this wood, there's enough resistance that it doesn't pull off the screws. Next up, I'm going to bring in the countertop, get it attached, and then we'll worry about level last. This is a piece of walnut, local wood store called the Wood Source, and they actually sell slabs that are in thin, like a 4/4 version, so you don't have to get a 300-pound slab. So for this scenario, it's perfect because I didn't want to overdo the hardware. I bought them off Amazon thinking, this is great, I'll use something from Amazon. And then when it got in, I was like, well, that seems a little light duty. So popped down to Wood Source and they had a solution to my problem. That was 4/4 board. Awesome. So I want to pre-drill the 3/4 of an inch. So I lay that on my bit. And then I lay my tape on my bit, which is going to be too wide. There we go. And I make sure that I tape the sides together. Nice and level, flush, even, beautiful. So, as I'm drilling, I have a flag. And when it touches the material on the bottom, that's as deep as I want to go. And it's really that simple. Now, I also want as much overhang as I can get without risking being too close. I like that. Yeah, it's right on the edge. Good. Here we go. Yep, and I'm paranoid. I don't like the way that the flag is bending inside that frame. I'm gonna double check the width here. Sorry, let's go on the inches side. Okay, we're still 3/4, we're good. So, I think before we go any further, let's put the first screw in so it's not gonna slide off by accident. Okay? Done. And no raised surface. That's perfect. All right, now we'll just do that a whole bunch of times. And if anybody's interested, yep. That one's gone forever. The cost of this countertop was $267 Canadian, and it was a 10-foot piece. And it had a little bit of damage on it, as you can see on the edge. But I was able to just take my saw and cut off some of the rough parts and then sand it smooth. Took no time at all. It's pretty functional to get an 8-foot countertop for a couple $100. Like, where can you get an 8-foot countertop for $200? You can't even get that in Formica. Now I get sturdy and sexy all at the same time. Nice. All right. Yeah, I can't do this with 4 brackets. There's just no way. Yeah, and at the same time, like, it doesn't need all that bloody hardware in there, does it? Like, if it's not going to function clean, this is part of the problem. It's a pretty precise. I don't think it's designed to be with four brackets. That's what it was. That mechanism was blocking it. We were having an issue because I was too flush. This locking mechanism wasn't working right. So I'm actually going to install about 1/8 of an inch above where I was, just to guarantee that locking mechanism works. I took the extra 2 brackets off. It seemed to be not necessary. And the finicky nature of this mechanism, from 89 to 90 degrees open, nothing functioned. It didn't lock, it didn't open, it wasn't moving. It had to get to an actual 90, maybe 91. So now, right, it's engaged. So here we go. I can get that one going. And now it opens fully position, which is what I was looking for. I am much happier about that. And I'm thinking even trying 3 of these things, it's not gonna work. So I'm glad I went with the 4/4 board so it's not too heavy. Now it's locked in position. So it's actually locked on an angle. Huh. So the solution to my problem is to put in positive stops so that it sits flat. I'm only guessing what that is. So now that it sits open, I don't have to release the locks to move. Okay, that's not enough. Wow, that looks a lot closer to level. And it's not locking, okay? So it's easy to open up to close up the bar. Okay, perfect. I'm just gonna add a few more screw locations. Now, for the final coat, we're using this. And these cans are really tiny, but they got an extra can. It's easier to work out of. I'm using foam brushes, right? Buy them in a bag, use it and throw it away. You don't want to use a lot of pressure with this product or these brushes. Just get it wet and push it around. I would prefer in an outdoor project using 3 coats versus 2. And so for that reason, I don't even sand after the first coat. Okay, you just want to get it. First coat kind of soaks in, second coat fills in most of the gaps and cracks. But then when you want to sand this thing, you want to use steel wool, okay? And when you go buy steel wool for sanding, it comes in 6 different grades. For really good finishing like this, you want somebody to sit down at your bar in the backyard, put their hands on that and go, damn. You want to use 4-0 steel wool. It's so fine, it'll just make it like glass. And that's what we're gonna do, all right? Oh, here we go. So at the end of the day, we went with basic old-fashioned hardwood supports, and we just chiseled them out and created a little block so it stops on there. Now we got an awning, we got a bar. We are in business. The only thing I need now is a keg. Cheers till next time.